Hey guys, in today's video, we're going to be doing a complete from the ground up build on another motorized bicycle. And what we have in store for today is we're going to try and replicate this style of a build. This is the 1911 Flying Merkel. A lot of you that watch my channel seem to enjoy when I take something that looks like shit and turn it into something that looks amazing. So we're going to be doing complete, paint job on this thing, making custom panels, cute little headlight for it. We're just going to be doing pretty much everything you can think of to kind of replicate that old style. So adding fenders, like white wall tires. We're going to make our own white wall tires. Just doing little fork extensions, stuff like that, right? And thinking outside the box in this hobby is like the best thing you can do. Cookie cutter builds only go to like so far to an extent, and then it just becomes boring. But when you're always coming up with cool ideas, creating your own stuff, that you can be proud of, it's just going to be a lot better in my opinion. What I'm doing here is just cutting the rear subframe out of an old mountain bike, and we're going to go ahead and strip it down. So I'm just going to use the angle grinder and flatten out some of those spots and use the old Sawzall, cut some pieces off it. Now we got flat bars. So what I'm going to do here is notch the bottom there so that everything aligns properly, and we're going to notch the top. So we're going to make sure that's at like a 45 to a 60 degree angle, which is going to ensure that it sits on it properly. But yeah, it's pretty simple stuff. I've been wanting to do this for quite a while. Originally doing it on the military build, but never went through with it. So I'm trying it on the Flying Merkel. I'll let you guys know how it holds up. But the only downside is you could add disc brakes, but I'd be worried about the integrity, constantly welding on the forks. Could it reduce the strength of the steel? That is a possibility. So just watch out what you're doing and pick one or the other. As far as engines go for this thing, gonna keep it super basic. Probably just gonna do a standard old 2-stroke. It's gonna look the best for this style of build, and most importantly, gonna be easy to work on for the next owner. Because yes, I do intend selling it to make a little profit, but I'm also wanting to show you guys kind of how I do this stuff so that you can go out there and, make a little bit of money for yourself, make something cool for somebody to enjoy and have fun doing it. But everything looks pretty well aligned on this fork here. So we're going to start cleaning this thing up to get ready for welding. All I did here was just label left and right, and we're going to go ahead and start grinding away at this frame. Now I'm going to warn you guys, this particular frame has like 3 to 4 layers of paint under it. So if even this flap disc has a hard time actually removing the paint, which is kind of hilarious. But for this bike in particular, probably expect 2 to 3 videos on the build itself. So this first video is going to be all the fabrication and a little bit of sanding at the end just to get the bike, initially going. And then we're going to go ahead and paint it in the second video. Probably do some little touches here and there, like I said, with the tires and maybe some decals. And then part 3 is going to be installing the engine kit and getting it fired up and getting it all ready to go. But in this video, you're just going to witness a hell of a lot of welding. So, well, I shouldn't say a lot, but for this type of stuff, it's quite a bit. Now, I've definitely welded better in the past, but with a little bit of grinding, we can make this look okay. Now, as far as welding goes, there's a few different ways you can do it. The way that I really prefer, if you want something that looks hella pretty, is the kind of the circle method. So you start from one end and you kind of go up and then back down, and then you just go up and back and up and back. That one's pretty good. You can do the over and then back one, which is kind of more of a straight weld. But like I said, this stuff doesn't really matter. You just need to find what works best for you and go from there. But we're going to be going and starting to prep this thing because we need to do some body fill stuff. So, because I'm trying to get that really smooth look so that it doesn't look like it was welded at all. Just gonna use a bit of brake clean here, clean things up, get it ready to go. And with the body filler, pretty simple stuff. We're just going to basically mix it up here, and then I'm going to lay it out in the cardboard, speed that up. And then for the blue part of it, you just want to do one solid bead across whatever your circle is. Doesn't matter how big it is. And then you're just going to start mixing that. And when you go ahead and mix it, you want to not do it like this, not in a stir pattern. You want to flatten it out. So you'll pick it up like that, and then you just flatten it out. And what this is going to do is remove all the air bubbles. So when you apply the fill and you sand it later, you don't get these big damn craters in it. It's still going to happen. It's just going to reduce it. But we're just going to go ahead and start applying it to the fork. And with this kind of stuff here, I wouldn't worry about balling it up too much. Just get as much on there as you can, because as long as you sand it about 20 minutes after, the fill is going to come off easy. If you wait, a whole day or two, that is when you run into issues with too much fill, because you'll start to sand it away and realize, holy shit, this stuff's like concrete. It doesn't want to go away. And then you're just stuck with a big pile of crap on your bike. So you want to make sure you do it right. Do it right after about 20 minutes or so. Going to use a 60 grit wheel here and just chew down most of the body fill. And with this one here, I did about 2 passes with the fill itself. So what this means is I did 1 round with the fill, sanded it, and said, okay, a few areas need work. There's a few craters in this spot, there's a few high spots, etc. Still looking pretty good, but I want it to look better. So here I am just hand sanding it a bit to get that kind of smooth finished look. So in my last video, if you guys watched it all the way through, you'll probably remember when I said I was going to be installing an exhaust on the Honda Nighthawk. Now that bike is still in the shop for over 2.5 months now. It's getting timing chain work done. And as soon as I get that thing back, I want to do a full review on the bike, as I believe it is one of the best beginner street bikes for the money you're going to pay for it. And it's a cool old school bike that not a lot of people know about. And I just want to share it with you guys, because I'm going to be honest with you, I love doing the motorized bike stuff. There's going to be a lot of builds, coming up this summer. But motorcycles are, unfortunately, for some of you, going to be the path I go down. Expanding, let's say, with that. So it's going to be a more variety of content. Hopefully I can keep viewers that, originally came here for what I did. But, you can't please everybody, unfortunately. So the next little thing that we're going to do on this bike is I'm going to be adding a little steel rebar piece kind of in the middle of the frame. So I'm just sizing it up here, and we're just going to go ahead and grind it down and make it fit. But basically, I'm not trying to make an exact replica of this bike, right? If I really wanted to, I could have, got a fire extinguisher tank or something and kind of retrofitted a circle tank, if you will, like a fake one, or turn it into a real one. But the reality of the matter is, this is a tribute bike, meaning it doesn't have to be exactly the same, and it will never be exactly the same. I'm trying to just give it that look so people can go, oh, that's like a Flying Merkel kind of style build, or oh, that's an Indian style build, or oh, that's like blah, 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 right? So I'm not trying to make it exactly the same. That's not the goal. The goal is to make it look like a Keegan Hache type bike, right? Something that I created. So it's not just copying somebody else's design. But anyway, we're just going to go ahead and start prepping the surface for this. So I'm just going to use a flap disc for the grinder and just get it all cleaned up. But these welds seem to go pretty good compared to the fork ones, which was nice for a change. But like I said, with the kind of build I'm going for, still going to grind them down, make it look smooth. So that way when we hit this thing with paint, it doesn't look like a goddamn war crime, to the people that weld all the time. But yeah. And I bought a cute little seat for it. It was $30, and it's kind of a tan color. I think it's going to look nice on this bike, but we won't know till, we get everything in together. But welding at night, not going to lie, is kind of a pain. You can't see what you're doing, and the helmet goes all freaky with the auto tint, but you still can do it. Not going to lie, kind of was also welding without a helmet for some of the tacks, but I deleted those parts so the comments don't rip me apart. All I was doing was just shutting my eyes. Not ideal, but the helmet is bulky. I'll let you guys know that. for those of you that do care, a little life update. Just finishing up high school, as you guys know, and I'm going to be starting my motorcycle and power sports mechanic course coming up here next in September. So basically just going to school to, work on motorcycles and stuff for the rest. Well, I shouldn't say the rest of my life, but for however long I choose to do it, hopefully I have fun with it, and, not going to complain. Doing work that you enjoy is fun. Even if it is mechanic work and it causes you to curse, it's still better than something you don't enjoy doing. So put it at that. But anyway, gonna make a cool little headlight for this thing. So I'm just using an M6 stud, and I just went ahead and bent it at a 90-degree angle, and I'm gonna replicate it on the other one here, and you'll see that in a sec. But my kind of insight with this one was I'm just gonna bolt it straight into the handlebar and then weld the can onto it. Well, that can that I used was just an old turkey gravy can, and it just completely burnt through as expected. So what we're going to have to do with this one here, unfortunately, is find something, later down the road. And what I came up with, I think, was a pretty good idea, but you guys will have to let me know if it looks better or worse. But basically all I did was take a old paint canister that was aluminum, but it had steel inserts onto it for like holding it in the gun, and I was able to use that just fine. I've been getting a lot of comments, asking about if I've sold a lot of the bikes, and the answer is not really. The only one that I parted ways with that I am going to miss, not going to lie, is the Bikeberry F-Zero. But, growing up, I always wanted a built-in gas bike frame because I just thought they looked really cool, and people like race them in California and stuff like that. So I was just always looking forward to getting one up, like my hands on one. But once I got it, I realized like it's nice, but it's not really much different. What makes them different is when you start buying the crazy forks and the big wheels and putting crazy engines in it and stuff like that. That's what makes a difference, not the frame itself, really. It still feels like a bicycle at the end of the day. And I sold a mountain bike here, but like I said, I've held on to all the originals, and I don't intend on letting them go because they just have so much character. But obviously, like the ones that I intend building and selling, I'm not going to have no attachment to. But the ones with the built engines and the modified, I've modified everything over the years type deal, those I can't get rid of because that is what started it all and made me who I am today. So, they're sentimental. Let's put it like that. Can't complain with the panels. They turned out pretty good. And just this is all this is sheathing for siding and stuff like that. So it's very flimsy, but once it's screwed on the bike, it seems to do just fine. So turned out amazing in my opinion. But once we have it one solid color and have the little decals on it, I think they'll look pretty cool and look very similar to the builds I've done in the past. So some of you are probably going to ask, how much are you going to get out of this bike? Realistically, in Canadian dollars, I'm thinking around $650 to $700. Usually when you do that extra little bit in terms of customization, people are drawn to that. It's unique. Not everybody has one. So they're willing to pay that little bit of extra to get that cool look. Now, obviously, mechanically, we're going to make sure this bike is sound. Just like the Excelsior that I built, we're going to be going through the bike, greasing all the bearings, making sure everything is nice and tight, and taking the engine for many break-in rides before putting it up for sale so that the next owner has the best shot at keeping it good. After that, I don't care because I'm going to be honest with you, once you buy something used, it's your damn problem now. Don't come crying to me saying something broke. I don't mind helping you out in the beginning if you totally don't know what you're doing. Hey, what do you do for the mixed gas? Or hey, what this fell off, where do I get it on Amazon? Whatever. But when you're hitting me up, 4 or 5 months down the road saying my kid blew it up or this completely bent or busted, dude, it's not my responsibility. You've bought it out of pocket, mess off. I've never had that really happen. Only 1 or 2 times. But and I've sold a lot of stuff, so that's pretty good. With the motorized bikes, a lot of people find out that they're not a dirt bike. You can't just hop on it and go. You actually have to use your brain a little bit and tweak it and mess with it to make it work right. A lot of people don't know that when they buy it, so they think it's this invincible bike and it's cheap and it's going to go forever. So they take it on these big road trips and then they get mad when something breaks. Listen, I know I sound mean, but I'm just being completely honest. That's how people work. So anyway, here I am just welding up the headlight. And there's that little paint canister I was talking about. Worked freaking perfect for this. It's got that awesome look. And like I said, I'm kind of going for that fake headlight kind of speedometer combo kind of look. And just welding it up here. You can see those welds got stupid hot. I'm not sure what steel it's made out of, but it's freaking hard because even after the arc, it caused a couple small fires. So had to put those out. But yeah, it looks pretty good. It's just hilarious that's on it. So I'm going to wrap up this video. I hope you guys learned something new. And stay tuned for the second part of this video series where we take a deep dive into painting bodywork of this thing and making it look perfect. And then from the third part, like I said, we're going to be getting into the engine and making it all run right. But yeah, just a ground up build, raw, no, not a lot of editing in this video, just kind of getting her done type of deal. And here's a little sneaky clip of part 2, but thanks for watching.